Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Association Peeps in Cubicles Drinking Coffee. I am Rachel Luoma.
And I am Kim Barclay, and we're with Partners in Association Management.
Yes, and so let's kick it off with the coffee of the day today. Coffee of the day is actually tea.
Ooh,
I am a tea drinker. I know. I want to keep everybody on their toes. So from time to time, I like a good tea. English breakfast tea is my favorite, followed closely by Earl Grey. So today I have a Twinings of London English breakfast tea, one of the classics.
Oh, pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
All right.
So what do you think we're talking about today?
So today I would love to talk a little bit about strategic planning for associations. I know it's at the top of everyone's mind, and so figured we could just give it a go today.
Sure. Okay, sounds
Awesome.
great.
Yep.
So Rachel, I hear so many times, the clients I work with and peers and colleagues, they ask, why do you even have to have a strategic plan? So can you give us some more, in-depth information on that so we have a better idea?
Yeah, sure. So I think first and foremost, it keeps the mission and the vision top of mind for the association, and it makes sure that the association, both the board and the staff, have a set of shared goals. If everyone's rowing the boat in the same direction, you're going to get a lot farther than if you've got somebody in the back who's just kind of flailing around,
For sure.
not rowing in the same direction. So it gives you a shared sense of goals and strategies to meet those goals, and then it helps you to prioritize, right? What do we work on first?
Prioritization.
And it helps you to allocate your resources, both from a time standpoint and from a financial standpoint. And so, I think the other thing too is it helps to keep members informed as to what you're working on.
Yeah.
We're not sharing copies of our minutes for the most part, obviously, if we're following best practices. And so we have to have a way to communicate what the association is working on to our members, to our constituents, to help them embrace the things that the association is doing and solutions that we're providing for the things that they need.
Right. Yeah, it's good for everybody to be on the same page and everybody have the same understanding of what's priority, because you're going to have some people over here and some people over there, and bringing it all together, that for sure is important.
Absolutely. I think you just summed up exactly what the strategic plan can do. It can help give you that shared goal and that shared vision.
So Rachel, we have why we have a strategic plan. We have what's important to put in your strategic plan. So now my question is, what are the things to be mindful of in your strategic plan and developing it, and what do you need to consider when developing it?
Absolutely. So I think first and foremost, you need the right people in the room. You want to make sure that your board of directors is involved. You want to make sure that they're engaged. I've seen some groups that have brought in committee chairs or other people who we know are in the pipeline for the board, but you want to make sure that those people are in the room so that there's a considerable amount of buy-in. You want to make sure that you've got the right facilitator. Putting 15 to 20 people in a room is great, but getting somebody to lead that conversation to make sure that the group is talking about the right things at the right time and is focused on those high-level board discussions, I think is pretty critical.
Yeah. And sometimes you may have to get somebody from the outside of your organization to come be that facilitator.
I highly actually recommend bringing in a third-party facilitator. I think association professionals are fantastic at what they do, but sometimes you need that third-party person to come in and tell your board what they need to hear that you as the executive director can't say.
Right, exactly.
Right? You can't tell your board that we're in the weeds and then respond the way an outside person may do that.
For sure.
So I think that's really important as well. I think, you've got to have the right content. Making sure that we're talking about those things that we discussed, your mission and your vision, and focusing on that. And you've got to have the right amount of time. Those conversations have to be meaningful in nature, and they can't be rushed. But we all know that no one's any good after 6 hours.
Right.
Yeah, so I always say you want to plan for at least a full day, if not a day and a half, 2 days, to make sure that you can come back to those strategies and tactics that you may have talked about on the first day when everybody's fresh and has a fresh mind.
Yeah.
I think you want to make sure you've got the right balance. You want your board to focus on, obviously, the high level discussions, but you want to make sure that you have your operations in mind, that your staff has an opportunity to weigh in on those things. And I think finally, one of the most important pieces is that follow-up. You have to have the right follow-up. So how do your committees align with your goals? How does your budget align with your strategies?
Yeah.
How are you ensuring that the discussion doesn't stop at the end of the day? I think the big joke is we'll put that strategic plan on our shelf with the other strategic plans.
Yeah.
So ensuring that conversation continues to be top of mind, I think, is one of the most important things.
Yeah, and it's a hefty lift, because you got to make sure that your committee's doing what they're supposed to do. You have to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do as an executive director.
Absolutely.
To make sure that you're facilitating all of these tasks.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be heavy.
It is. No one ever said it was easy.
Right? Exactly. Thanks, Rachel.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
awesome. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Association Peeps and Cubicles Drinking Coffee. We hope that you found this episode, pretty enlightening about strategic planning, because it's very important. Hey Rachel, I like your new shirt.
Thank you. I like yours too.
I got one too.
Twins.
Yeah, twins, freakies.
#twinning.
Thanks guys. We'll see you
Have
later.
a great one. Take care.